Welcome to Piano Video Lessons Year 1, Unit 4. First, a big shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for your support. To find out about the benefits of becoming a patron, click the info card. In today's lesson, we're going to be learning about harmonic and melodic intervals. This is video number 55 on YouTube and lesson 7 of Unit 4. So come on over to pianovideolessons.com where you can find all of these lessons indexed much more readily, and you can also get the printables if you're looking for those. So we've talked before about intervals, and when we were just playing the dance in transposed keys, we were talking about the distance between notes. So just a quick refresher, just a really short video here to talk about reading intervals. So when we play intervals, we have to look to see if notes are in spaces or lines. So in this case, we're starting on C, and we're playing up to E. And I didn't need to know that that was E. I just needed to know that it was a skip higher than my first note. And I'm playing in the key of C. I have no sharps or flats written in, so I'm just on white keys here. So I'm looking at these notes, and I'm seeing that they move up a skip. So I'm using 3 to 5, but if I started on 2, what would I skip up to? Which finger would this be? It would be a 4. And if I'd started on a 1, what would I be going up to? It's a skip, so I would skip a finger and I would land on 3. So the feeling of the look of this is important to start to feel in your hands. Let's look at the next example here. We have this lower note, which is in space 2, and you know bass clef space 2 is C. And then we see a line note that's not the neighbor, it's a bit further away. So I know that the feeling of that is to skip over 2 fingers and land here on F. So this is called a fourth. And this is played one note after the other, just like the first example. And when notes are played one after the other, we call that melodic. It's like a melody. We could sing one note and then the next note. In the next example, the notes play together, and that's called a harmonic interval, called harmonic because it's harmony. I would need 2 people in order to sing those 2 notes at the same time. I'm not physically capable of singing 2 notes at once. Although I have heard some native singing where they use a combination of their humming and singing at the same time. It's really cool, but they actually can sing different notes at the same time. Really blows your mind. Google it. Okay, so here we have 2 notes. I see one's a line note and the other one's a line note, but it's not the next line. So this distance is called a fifth, and it takes my full hand to play it. There's really only one pair of fingers that I can use that make that comfortable, and it's 1 and 5. And now we'll look at the next example in the left hand, and it starts on space 2C again, and it's exactly the same notes that we had in this melodic interval, but now it's played harmonically. So if we started with a 5 on the bottom, the feeling of this is 2-5-2. So you just sort of need to know that that's what that feels like. But if I'd had a thumb on top, I would be playing this with 4-1. So that's what that feels like. Just get that in your mind, that it feels like this distance in your hand, either this or this. When you see something that looks this far apart, that's how it feels. So I could play that with my 1 on F and my 4 on C. That's how it feels. Now let's look at the next example. It's right hand, and right away let's just figure out what fingers we need. Let's never mind what the notes are. It's a line. I'm going to play it with my thumb, or think about it with my thumb, and then it skips a line and goes to the next line. So I know that this is the distance. So I'm playing the outside of my hand, and that's a fifth. So now I could, maybe this is the fastest note for me to grab. I know it's F, it's at the top. And then, well, this one happens to be B because it's that distance reach. And it is B, of course, because it's on line 3. If you want to get faster at reading your notes, you should check out the Note Speller videos here on YouTube and also at pianovideolessons.com, because that will help you to really snappily get your notes really fast. It's a drill session with all the lines or spaces and groups, and takes you through it all. Looking at this next one, what does that feel like? Well, it's not a skip and it's not neighbors. It's not a fifth. It's definitely a fourth. So I mean, it's going to feel like 2-5 or 1-4. Those are my options. So if I put my 2 on A, top note's A, my bottom finger lands on 5. That's how it feels. Or if I had my thumb on A, my bottom 4 lands on E. So that's a fourth. And is that harmonic or is that melodic? It's harmonic. Now here we see again notes that are on lines with nothing between. Grabbing that, it's a nice fifth. So I only had to know one of those notes quickly. I'm just going to grab the G because it was the first one I looked at, and I play the fifth. I can't use other finger combinations easily with this. I could stretch my hand if I had to. If I was going somewhere else up here next, I could use any combination, but the natural combination to play on a fifth is just the natural hand span. Here's another fourth. It's the same notes that were used up here. So I could go 2 to 5, or I could go 1 to 4, and I'm just grabbing that first note because I'm looking at it first, and it's F, and then down. And this is melodic. Okay, next group, 2 space notes. They're close spaces, so my choices are it will feel like this, or like this. Do you understand that? It's going to go 3 skip, 4 skip, or 5 skip. It starts on F. So that was with 3, that was with 4, and this is with 5. The reason I would choose the fingers would be depending on what comes next. Whatever makes the next notes easier is the best choice of fingers to use. Okay, here we see a space note to another space, but we're skipping a space, so we've got that fifth again, that nice big reach. I'm going to put my thumb on A and play up. There we have it. Okay, looking here, 2 line notes, skip a line, that's a fifth. Again, this is harmonic or melodic? Yes, it's harmonic. And it's right here at the bottom. And then we have this last pair. This is what distance? A third or a skip. So it could be played with 1-3, it could be played with 2-4, or it could be played with 3-5. Now, if you had just played this with your 5 on the bottom, your 1 is on top, and that's the same note. So that's another thing to look for when reading patterns is, am I playing the same note I just played? Well, let's use the same finger. And so that would mean to play it with 1-3. Now, if this wasn't in the music, and I was just reading this on its own, I could play it with 2-4, or I could play it with 3-5. So when you're reading music, it's really important to not glue yourself to needing to know what all the notes are. Really, it's better to just know where you're starting and then look for those distances and see how they feel in your fingers. And then you're going to play the right notes because you're playing the right distance. Because that's what music is. It's the sounds that are put together with a certain rhythm, and they're moved higher and lower by the distances that make the melody. Awesome. Okay, enough about that. In our next lesson, we're going to be doing a finger gym, and well, enough about that, except this finger gym is going to use a little tricky pattern that uses harmonic and melodic intervals. So check back in our next lesson, video number 56, and please click like if this lesson was helpful, and subscribe for more piano video lessons. Thanks for watching.